The Secret Love and Political Struggle of Frank van Borselen and Jacoba of Bavaria. The portrait of Frank van Borselen, Lord of St Maartensdijk and Stadholder of Holland, and its pendant showing his wife Jacoba of Bavaria, Countess of Holland and Zeeland, are fascinating pieces that reveal the secret love and political struggle of a couple who defied the Duke of Burgundy. The paintings, created by an anonymous artist after c. 1480, are based on earlier models that captured the essence and legacy of Frank and Jacoba. Frank is depicted in a dignified pose, wearing a black doublet and a red chaperon, which is scalloped at the edges and embellished with a bejeweled pin. He wears the collar of St Antony around his neck, a symbol not only of his union with Jacoba but also of the order founded by her grandfather, Albrecht of Bavaria. His portrait once hung at Kasteel Nieuw-Teylingen alongside that of Jacoba, who is portrayed in a splendid red hoopland lined with brown fur and a red and gold hairnet. She also wears the collar of St Antony, as well as a gold chain belt. Her posture and costume are reminiscent of three other portraits of her attributed to Lambert van Eyck, the brother of the famous Jan van Eyck, who painted her in 1432, the year of her secret marriage to Frank. Their marriage was a scandalous affair, as the Duke of Burgundy, Philip the Good, had forbidden Jacoba to remarry without his consent. Jacoba, who was born the Duchess of Bavaria and became the Countess of Holland, Zeeland, Friesland, and Hainaut upon her father's death in 1417, had already endured 3 ill-fated marriages and a series of political and family conflicts. When Philip learned of her marriage to Frank, he imprisoned him and forced Jacoba to relinquish her counties in exchange for his release. She complied in 1433, accepting the diminished title of Duchess of Bavaria and of Holland, Countess of Oostervant. Frank likewise became the Count of Oostervant upon their second, public marriage in 1434. Jacoba died just 2 years later. Frank lived on until 1470 and never remarried. A notable feature of these two portraits is Jacoba's placement to the right of her husband, the position deemed superior by long-standing courtly and heraldic custom. This reflects her far more significant political status, as she was born into nobility and inherited 4 counties, while Frank was merely a lord. The distinction is evident in an illumination from the late 15th century chronicle of Johan Huyssen van Katendijk that presents the coats of arms of Jacoba and her 4 husbands, all of whom are referred to as dukes except for Frank, who is identified only as a lord. These portraits are not only artistic creations, they are historical documents that tell the story of a couple who faced many challenges and triumphs in their life. Frank and Jacoba were a couple of courage, passion, and resilience, a remarkable pair in the history of the Low Countries.